All right, we're here. It's Modern Monarchy, episode 8.
Whoop.
How's it going, Cassie?
It's hot. I know I already complained about this, but it's very
Yeah.
hot.
She complained about the heat, but it's valid because it's New England heat and it's atrocious with the humidity. Um,
It is.
yeah. So let's try to quickly get into this episode because there's a lot to talk about. I did work really hard on this.
You put a lot of time and effort into this in a way, though, that it's like you care and you want it to be
I
good.
do. You don't even understand how, when I start researching and organizing information for this, I like lose 3 hours at a time. Mostly because you know how, like, you're working on one topic, like one question, and trying to find the answers and like trying to find sources to back up the answers. And then you find another question. And so you go to find the answer to that question, you need sources to back up the answers. It
We
just
all
keeps
have
going and
engaged
going and going.
here.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
No, I don't have a diagnosis. Let's be real.
I don't
But
either,
I could have it.
but I am peer reviewed.
Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, episode 8. I got that right this time. Kind of titled it Sussex Surrogacy? Question mark? Because we're going to talk about everything about these Sussex kids. Um, Mostly because there are some conspiracies out there that I don't I don't believe. I have to keep telling myself I don't believe that they had a surrogate because as you'll see, just them having children, just like you know how Megan has businesses now and releasing the businesses is it's just been a mess.
Yeah.
So having children was a mess. And so it left a lot of room for people to like speculate
Mm.
and just guess the answers to things. And they did a lot of weird stuff and they lie about things that you don't need to lie about. Anyways, we're going to go through it all. And we're going to start with how modern royal births usually go.
Okay. So I have a point of reference. I love that.
So, royal babies, it's a big thing. People get excited because, you know, the British royal family is everybody's family. You know, if you've been following these people your entire life in the news, even just like here and there, everybody gets out to party every time there's like a big wedding or a baby or a jubilee or a coronation, which at the time there hadn't been a coronation in almost 70 years. So we're really hanging on to weddings and babies.
Our choices of celebration are limited.
I mean, there is Trip in the Color, but it's the same every year. Weddings and babies, slightly different every time. Um, so first, everybody gets notified when the mother has gone into labor.
Who is
So everybody
everybody?
can,
Or it's like on the news.
like, it's in the news.
Okay.
Everybody's getting excited. Everybody's like rallying around the hospital. We're getting pumped. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and then once the baby has arrived, the first person notified is the queen, or now the king. Um, and then they notify senior members of the royal family, and members of the mother's family if they're not already at the hospital. Which I believe sorry if you can hear my hair. I believe when probably, I don't know about Lily. I know at least Archie, Doria, his maternal grandmother, was in the hospital already. Um, and then a royal aide takes the information about the baby, about like when they were born and how much they weighed and what the gender is. And they have a police escort and they run to the palace,
Like
Buckingham Palace.
physically run from the hospital?
They get in a car.
Oh, okay. I was like, they physically run through the
They're like, I
street?
gotta go. I think there's one of the stories I heard on a documentary. The aide that had the piece of paper with, I think, Charlotte's information, he lost that piece of paper on the way to the palace. And he was terrified the entire time that somebody was going to find it and give it to the news people before he could put the bulletin up at Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
Feels like something you would probably lose your job over.
I don't know about lose your job, because I would hope the family would be more forgiving than that, but like, stress. So much stress. So then they actually have the announcement goes on. It either goes on an easel. Sometimes they put announcements. They like chain them to the actual gates outside Buckingham Palace.
That's
But
a funny way to like put information out.
I know, right?
All right, there's a new piece of paper on the gate.
So yeah, this is the official announcement. It has the time the baby was born, how much they weigh, and whether it's a boy or girl. And then it is signed by the medical staff. Because remember from the Charles episode, I said that during royal births, they used to have some sort of political official in the room to make sure that baby was the right baby. Now we're good with just like the medical staff signing the announcement. Like,
Oh,
here,
good.
we sponsor this baby. And then after it is announced at the palace, they put it up on their social media platforms. For babies in the direct line of succession, so like Olive Williams' kids, they get like the royal salute with lots of guns going off.
What a strange thing. Congratulations,
Yeah.
you had a baby. Guns.
Um,
That feels way more American.
I've always wondered how this works when you're shooting it across the river. Like, is nothing coming out,
Right? They're probably
or
like
is it
special blanks.
does it explode in the air? I don't understand. They do it all the time, so clearly they have figured it out.
Or there's a lot of dead people across the river.
There's just a lot of dead. It's birds, deaths.
We gotta make room. This one's royal.
There's a 41 gun salute in Green Park, which is the basic royal salute of 21 guns, plus 20 for it being in a royal park. And then at the Tower of London, there's a 62 gun salute, which is the royal salute of 21, plus 20 because it's at it's on a royal property. And then 21 for the City of London is what it said.
Okay. It feels like an excuse to just shoot guns off a lot.
Shoot more guns. Yeah.
You know what this could use?
Union...
20 more gunshots.
I think we need more. I could find a reason.
The City of London deserves 21 gunshots.
And Union Jacks will be flown from all government buildings, Royal Naval ships, and defense establishments for the baby. And then usually what happens is we go outside and we present the baby. Usually like a few hours after giving birth.
Oh, you don't have to go out right away? That's nice.
Yeah, so like, I know at least Kate Middleton, and I'm assuming Diana also had like a professional hairstylist and makeup artist, and you just sit there and be like, do me.
Right, make me look presentable.
Exactly. And then you just throw on a big dress and you go out. You stand there with the baby for a few minutes, they ask you some questions, and you go back inside.
Fabulous.
I'd read, even from like the BBC website, that the Queen would present the baby on the balcony at Buckingham Palace, which would make sense because she was usually giving birth in the palace. But I can't find any pictures of her doing that, which I find strange.
Yeah, that feels like there should at least be, like, with all of the, like, birth.
Yeah, she had 4 kids.
Like, how is it that you don't have a picture of any of that?
Right. So,
Unlikely.
I thought that was interesting. But Diana and Catherine had their children in the Lindo wing at St. Mary's Hospital in London, which is an NHS hospital, which will come into play in a bit because Meghan's not going to have it at an NHS hospital.
Of course she did.
And by it, I mean him. I'm sorry. Sorry, Archie. I didn't mean it. Okay, so the next part I wrote, pregnancy with Archie, just like their business ventures, this is a hot mess. All right, right away, we're going to start off, we're going to try to do this as chronologically as possible. It's going to get a little weird because sometimes it made more sense for me to talk about things in chronologically how they happened. And sometimes it made more sense to talk about chronologically how we found out about things.
Fair.
So I think we're just going to start with a little bit of Spare. I'm going to have you read the moment that Harry and Meghan found out she was pregnant.
Okay. Meg. I do not like these giant first letters. Sorry. It just cracks me up.
You're also not going to like that whenever people speak in this book, they italicize it instead of using quotes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's driving me crazy.
Meg was late. We bought 2 home pregnancy tests, one for a backup. Okay. And she took both of them into the bathroom at Notcut. I was lying on her bed, and while waiting for her to come out, I fell asleep. When I woke,
Exactly.
She was beside me.
He was so excited. Pregnancy tests are like 10 minutes?
Not even, I don't think. I don't even think it's 10 minutes. I think it's like 5. I'm not, like...
Either way, he fell asleep.
Like... Oh, I don't want to, like... I need at home.
Why is this difficult? I don't understand.
Because at first I said, like, I did a bad Google. Most of them provide...
Oh.
Do you want to guess it's even lower than 5? It's 3 minutes.
Wow. That was a long time for
3
Harry.
minutes.
Okay. He couldn't pay attention that long. All right, next page. This is the last page of this part.
This is so bad. Okay, what's happened? Is it? She said she hadn't looked. She waited for me. The wands were on the nightstand. Okay, Harry Potter. I only kept a few things there. Among them, the blue box of my mother's hair.
Oh yeah, but he has that as like a keepsake. His aunt gave William and Harry pieces of their mother's hair. I think it's like a Victorian tradition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, right.
Worse things happen in this book.
Oh. Right. I thought, good. Let's see what Mummy can do with this situation.
His mom's gonna help.
Okay. I reached for the wands, peered into their little windows. Blue. Bright, bright blue. Both of them. Blue meant baby. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well then. We hugged, kissed. I put the wands back on the nightstand. I thought, thank you, Selkies. I thought, thank you, Mummy.
So, the Selkies thing is right before this. They went up to Scotland, and Meghan was singing to the seals, which are like, I guess in Scottish lore, Selkies are kind of like mermaids, but they're the seals. Anyways, she was singing to seals, and the seals were singing back, and it was magical for him.
Okay, well, this is weird. Thanks, Mom.
I just, the lack of excitement is astounding.
Right? Oh, wow. Well then. Yup.
And then we hugged, and that was it.
They kissed. Calm down.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And then he put the wands back on the nightstand next to his mom's hair. Fucking weird.
So I think when they announce their pregnancy in October that she's 3 months pregnant, because usually royals wait out the first 3 months to make sure that like the pregnancy's gonna stick.
Right.
Which means this is probably happening in July, I think, of that year, which is like a couple months after they get married.
Okay.
Because they got married in May, and when they announced the pregnancy in October, and so you have 5 months where everybody and their mom is just constantly talking about like when are they gonna get pregnant. We've even got 2 days before they no, wait a minute. We've got a few days, 4 days before they tell the family that she's pregnant. The psychics are in the newspaper saying, "Oh, I think she's already pregnant." And then I pointed to this other article that you could link to that was like, Meghan Markle pregnant? Body language signs amid baby rumors. And it's just, I think there was some complaining in the Harry and Meghan show on Netflix about how, like, people were pressuring them to have babies, but it's like, that's what everybody does to married couples. Like, as soon as people get married, the next question is, when are you gonna have babies?
I massively disappointed my mother-in-law a couple months ago with this. It was okay, but it's on her. So we were at Easter. This is a super quick story. So we're sitting at Easter. She's like off to the side, and it's like me, his grandmother, his siblings, and his mom's like, "Oh, so does anybody have any news?" And I was like, "Well, actually." And I looked at Josh, and I was like, "Do you want to tell her?" And Jody, she gasped. There was an audible, and I turned around immediately, and I was like, "Oh, it's not a baby. We're getting a tractor." And she was like, "Oh, congratulations."
You're like, you seem less excited. I don't understand.
Right? I'm actually really stoked I'm getting a tractor, but okay.
Exactly.
And she was like, "You're not, like, how dare you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's your fault for just expecting that anytime somebody says news."
Right. Well, actually, I do have news. I ate a sandwich for lunch.
What?
I know.
But you're right. Like that's that's not, you're not special. That's not.
Well, yeah, it happens to everybody, and the fact that, Meghan's 37 years old. How long do they think people are gonna expect babies to be coming?
Right.
Anyways, 10/10, October 10th. There's a U.S. Weekly exclusive that Harry and Meghan are trying for a baby.
I hate that
and
phrase.
It specifically says that they both want a big family with at least 3 kids. And I just think this is one of those things that, like, Meghan and Harry planted literally just before they announced that they were pregnant. So 2 days after this is Princess Eugenie's wedding. Um, and so they're gonna go to this wedding. It's actually like a 3-day event, but Harry and Meghan are just gonna go to the wedding part, and then they have to go on tour to Australia, Fiji, the Kingdom of Tonga, and New Zealand. So Meghan shows up at the wedding looking like this.
That's not a wedding outfit.
But like, when do people button just the top of a jacket and just let the rest of it open?
Right?
Like, she looks like she's dressing pregnant.
Right.
And I have a feeling she knows this. Because, like, everybody, the news was all abuzz, like, as soon as they saw her step out, they were like, is she pregnant? And then other people who are just like, oh, people in the news, they're just so dramatic. Like, why would you just assume that she's pregnant? And it's like,
It's the outfit. You're dressing like.
look at her. They're like, yeah, she's wearing a coat. So what? It's October. And I'm like, why is it open at the stomach?
Right in the place where a baby would be.
Yeah. So we later find out that this is where Harry and Meghan tell the whole family that she's pregnant.
At
They, like,
somebody
tell
else's
people
wedding?
at somebody else's wedding.
That is a
I'm glad to have that
class
reaction.
move. You
Because-
do not steal that couple's thunder. You do. Oh.
Especially if you think about it, as much as this is a family, Harry and Meghan are higher in the line of succession and henceforth the hierarchy, and like things have to be moved around for Eugenie's wedding. She had to change the dates of the wedding so that Harry and Meghan could attend it.
And then they announced their pregnancy at it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse.
And so
Ugh.
I personally, this is not going to sound nice, and I'm sorry, but
I mean, it's
I
kind of a
just-
shitty thing to do.
I think Meghan has a serious case of youngest sibling syndrome. She constantly needs attention because I don't think she dislikes Eugenie, because they had been talking in the news that the whole summer Meghan, Harry, and Eugenie and her soon-to-be husband, they've been like hanging out all summer. Meghan was friends with Eugenie before she met Harry. So I think that she actually likes her. But why would you do that?
Right? And then you can't play the like, oh, I didn't think it'd be a problem. Everybody knows that's a jerk move.
Yeah. So, again, there's like battles in the newspapers between the people who already don't like Meghan and they're like, why would you do that? And then the people who are like, you're just being ridiculous. Like,
Right.
it's not a big deal. I'm like, I wouldn't do that, and I'm not in the royal family.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I wouldn't even do that. Like, you just don't do that. That's just like common wedding etiquette. Like, it's like you don't propose to your girlfriend at a wedding.
Oh, my cat just clawed my shoulder.
Oh.
And she used me as a climbing post.
Oh, that's nice.
Somebody's moving around outside, and she's freaking out.
Oh, no.
She doesn't like it when people move around outside. And we just got a new neighbor on the other side of this wall, so she can hear them when they go inside.
Mmm.
Man.
Guard cat.
Okay, so that's on the 12th is the wedding, and Meghan pressing like she's freaking pregnant and telling everybody in the family that she's pregnant. Like, I just don't understand why none of this could have waited until after your Australia tour.
Right?
And then on the 15th is the public announcement from Kensington Palace. Would you like to read
I was
it?
going to say, am I reading? The Duke
You
and
read
Duchess of
it.
Sussex are expecting a baby. The Royal Highness, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are very pleased to announce that
Yes.
the Duchess of Sussex is expecting a baby in the spring of 2019. Their Royal Highnesses have appreciated all of the support they've received from people around the world since their wedding in May and are delighted to be able to share this happy news with the public.
Woohoo! Everybody's so excited, and now they're on tour, so all the attention's on them anyways, because they're out of the country.
Right?
Um, this is probably my favorite part of all of this is that immediately, like same day as the birth announcement, news sources are having forensic artists guess what the baby will look like. Are you ready?
No.
We have three very fine options. The baby could look like that.
Ah! Why'd they put him in a bucket hat?
I don't know, but like in a very creepy way. It's not terribly off from what Archie looks like, but it's still really creepy.
It's so creepy.
Number two,
Oh no.
or option number two, is that the child could look like either of these two. These two lovely options.
Okay.
And the last one is this.
What the frick is that?
The one on the left is slightly less terrifying. The one on the right will haunt me forever.
The one on the left looks like an American Girl doll that you threw into like ChatGPT and were like, who would this look like as a real person? And
Yeah.
then the one on the right looks like Quasimodo.
Why would you why would you post this? Anyway, so now we're all on baby watch, and we're all
Hoping and praying they
you
don't look
know,
anything like any of those.
yeah, yeah. But throughout Megan's pregnancy, people start to realize that, like, we know she's pregnant, but she cradles that bump like every second she gets. And like, I can understand maybe like not knowing what to do with your hands, and like that's a nice place to rest your hands. But like the first one and maybe even the second one, I'm like, what are you holding? I
Well,
don't even see the bump in the first one.
I can see it a little bit, but it still feels unnatural. It feels very like, oh, I know people are watching me, so I should do this. Instead
Like,
of,
I'm gonna be a mom.
yeah. Where it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm pregnant. Did you forget?
Yeah, don't forget I am pregnant. I'm
Oh,
so
there's
pregnant.
so many photos of this.
It's every single time. And then this is my favorite, the two-hander. And she did it long enough that there are multiple angles of her standing like this.
Right?
Like, it's a lot.
Oh my god.
And then
Oh.
people have noticed a fun little styling trick where every time she has a coat on, she's like making sure you can see the stomach. Like, just so you know, I am pregnant. Don't forget the belly.
Right?
Belly's
There's
here.
like that little like coat moment every time where she's like, oh, gotta adjust it so you can see the belly.
Don't forget it. Oh, baby.
It feels like those hey, you wanna buy a watch type? Hey, I got a baby. Don't forget I got a baby.
Don't forget. I'm pregnant. You know I'm pregnant.
Flash a little.
Yeah. So have you ever? Okay. This is where the conspiracy starts to come in.
Okay.
Because people have pictures of Megan with her bump, and they I don't know if it's like the angles, the lighting, the clothes she's wearing, where like the bump will look different sizes, shapes. It looks higher and lower, like hours apart.
Okay.
So some people, this is one of the conspiracies, is that she had a moon bump. Have you ever heard of a moon bump?
No.
This is a moon bump,
Oh.
especially because like when she does get pregnant, she gets her belly sits real high and just goes like straight out.
Right.
And people were noticing that like when she moves around, the belly doesn't seem to move right, supposedly. Um, yeah, we've got like videos like this of her squatting down 6 months pregnant, and like that belly seems to disappear. Her
Oh.
knees are closed. Like her knees are together. She's wearing heels. She's 6 months pregnant, and she just drops down. And she sits there for like 3 minutes.
Right, and she's probably gonna spring right back up.
Well, unfortunately, there's no video of her popping back up, but I have another one of her at 8 months pregnant, where she's going to put these flowers down again in heels, knees together, 8 months pregnant, down and up. And her husband's not even worried about her falling over. Just,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Little odd.
So I'm like, I know she does yoga, but like, and I've never been pregnant,
I was gonna say, I'm like,
but it does seem like she's unusually athletic for a heavily pregnant lady. And also, like, when you bend down, where is that stomach going?
right?
I've watched, um, obviously, I've watched other people who don't like Megan. They'll also say that she had her babies, but like, it's very curious for them because they've had children, and they're like, when you're very pregnant and you squat down, you either A, need to like hold something to get back up again, or B, when you squat down, you need to split your legs apart so the belly can go down in between them.
So I was about to say, I'm like, because it totally shifts your center of gravity.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, because if you did that, like if you squatted down like that, she's like far enough backwards, like you logically would like tip over backwards.
Yeah. Also, like, she's also leaning forward, right? When she goes to put those flowers down, she squats down, she leans forward with like all the weight being in the front.
Right, well, that's what I
And
mean.
she
Is that
doesn't.
there's no way. I can see where these came from.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Um, oh, and then this just leads to the baby mama dance, which just reignited the moon bump theories. And just like, how are you? Like later in the video, she like squats down real low and she just like pops back up
Right,
like nothing.
I'm sorry,
But
I can't handle him.
oh, wait, she's a week overdue. And so some people were saying that like like some of the stuff doesn't seem right because she should be hooked up to a bunch of stuff. But I'm wondering if because she was in labor so long or like she was waiting for the baby so long that she asked to be unhooked from the monitors for a bit so she could get up and move around.
Right.
And um some people said she wasn't wearing a medical bracelet, but I believe the one on her right hand
I was
is a
gonna say,
medical
like, that looks like
bracelet.
a medical bracelet.
And then some people were saying that she's wearing street clothes right before giving birth, and you're not allowed to do that, but like they make these things called labor and delivery gowns that look exactly like what she's wearing.
Right. And also, let's be fucking real. She's still technically a royal. Like, they're gonna let them kind of do more things than they're gonna let regular people do.
Yeah, and I did obviously look up the specific hospital that she went to. And they do allow you to like wear what you want to wear. It just has to be accessible for like doing things like the epidural and putting on monitors and stuff.
Right.
So
But you're right.
I believe she's doing this for real and she's pregnant. It's just that I can see
Why people would think the way they do.
exactly.
And I can argue that too. But you're right. This dress is that. Like, it clearly is that dress.
Yeah. Stu.
Oh, God.
We go into
So awful. He is the whitest man. Okay.
sorry.
It's the
It's a lot.
hood and the like weird little crab shimmy that he does.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving along, we get into February, and Megan's friends, and by friends, I solely mean like celebrity friends, decide to fly her to New York City for a baby shower.
Wouldn't she be really pregnant then? I'll
In
say
February, she's probably like 6 or 7 months, 6 months.
okay.
Yeah.
This is the
The-
friends?
These are the friends. They're all like people that are like her makeup artist, Serena Williams, Amal Clooney, uh, fashion designer friends.
Right? I'm like reading the bottom. Okay.
And so people are thinking like these are people that want to be seen with her because she's in the royal family now, more than just like they're actually her friends.
Right.
But it's all kind of leading into this feeling that people are getting that Megan is kind of enjoying being the celebrity she'd always wanted to be, but she's part of the royal family where that's not kosher. It's not really classy to be really splashy,
Right.
right?
You're not
So even though,
royal to be famous. You just
right,
happen to be
so like,
famous because you're royal.
right. And you're, as a royal, you're supposed to be, yes, like it is expected for you to like look nice because you're representing the country and like have nice things because like you're supposed to be the best of us, but you're also supposed to be pretty like humble about it
Right?
and focus on being a servant to the public. That's why we put you up there. They are having this party at the penthouse suite at the five-star Mark Hotel. It's $75,000 per night.
Ugh.
It has 2 floors, 5 bedrooms, 2 bars, 4 fireplaces in a penthouse in New York City,
Right? Why do you need that many fireplaces?
6 bathrooms, 2 powder rooms, and a rooftop terrace over Central Park.
Okay.
There's about 20 people, and clearly the hosts of this party have told the press that this is happening because we have way too many pictures of this event.
Right?
And that cart over there is, I think they're actually like suitcases that everybody was given at the party, and everybody was given really large gift bags. It was a lot. But now we're going to get into leaving the party. There was an incident with the press where Megan had to scurry out like the back door, and then they were all going to go meet for dinner somewhere else. and the location was supposed to be secret, and they kind of tried to lose the press by going down like the wrong direction and then try to like scurry over to the restaurant, but somehow the press knew where they were. That's crazy. So, because she had police escorts, they did a report on the incident. Nobody got hurt, nothing really happened. It's just that they were bothered by the press. But the interesting part is towards the bottom of this report. You could read the blurb about what happened from uh, the police perspective, point of view.
At approximately 1800 hours, the RASP advance informed me that the VIP was requesting a meeting with both of us. She stated a desire to depart the hotel out of the service door, the only other exit to the hotel located approximately 20 feet up the sidewalk from the main entrance, where the press and onlookers were still set up. I explained that we would need to move vehicles up the street to line up to the door, thereby telegraphing our intent. Oh, okay. Furthermore, there was not barriers set up on that side, and the press would be able to freely approach us on the way out. The VIP explained that her intent was to change the literal optics of the departure, making it appear that she was at least attempting to sneak out of the hotel in photos, rather than exiting through the main entrance and giving the potential impression that she was enjoying the media attention. The dinner destination was Polo Bar, located at 1 East 55th Street. The motorcade took a roundabout route to get there, shaking some of the press traveling by car. However, upon arrival, 20-plus photographers were already set up on the side door we intended to use, indicating that the schedule had leaked, presumably by one of the other attendees or the restaurant itself.
So, this is just like interesting because she's always trying to say that she wants her privacy. She doesn't want to be bothered by the press. But like she straight up told them, like,
right?
We need to arrange me going out this side door so it doesn't look like I like this. I did put in some notes that like some of the reasons that royals tend to skip the bridal shower is not only because it like looks tacky, but it looks tacky because what's the point of a bridal shower? It's to give gifts to the new family so they don't have to purchase all these new things to have a baby. But as a royal family, you don't need anything. Right?
Correct. Oh, you said bridal shower, not baby shower, so I was like, wait a second.
Oh, baby shower. Sorry.
That's why I was like, okay. But yes, and in either of those situations, you're kind of out on that one. Like, you have stuff, you have money, you don't need anything.
Right. So, that was that. That was all a bit much. And then we find out in March. I'll just have you read the blurb that I've highlighted.
Okay. A source said, this child will not be born at the Lindo. The talk of all senior clinicians there is that Meghan doesn't want to copy what Kate did. Harry and Meghan realize there is intense public interest, but this baby is not a direct heir to the throne, and they want the birth to be as private as possible. Meghan is nervous about complications, such as an emergency cesarean, and doesn't want the pressure of having to look immaculate on the hospital steps just hours later. Like any anxious first-time mom, she's worried about the birth itself.
Yeah, so she's saying that, like, coming out of the hospital several hours after giving birth, being all made up, felt unrealistic and not achievable for a lot of women. So she's, like, really concerned about,
the optics.
Women. The optics. But, yeah, we'll find out why that doesn't really seem to matter later on. In April, there's also a statement released by Buckingham Palace that said the Duke and Duchess are very grateful for the goodwill they have received from people throughout the United Kingdom and around the world as they prepare to welcome their baby. Their Royal Highnesses have taken a personal decision to keep plans around the arrival of their baby private. The Duke and Duchess look forward to sharing and celebrating the exciting news with everyone once they have an opportunity to celebrate privately as a new family.
Private, private,
Which,
private.
we want privacy, we want privacy. I don't know if you've seen the South Park episode where they pick on these two.
I don't think I have, but I probably should, huh?
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know if it might be more fun when you know more stuff because they're picking on them like pretty much a year or so after they've left and they're living in California, and they keep telling everybody they want to be so private, but like they're everywhere all the time and they won't shut up.
Mm.
And so they have them dressed up with like picket signs that say, "We want privacy, we want privacy." So anytime people who spend way too much time discussing this stuff, we talk about them wanting privacy. Somebody goes, "We want privacy, we want privacy."
And it makes sense now.
Yeah. So people read this and it's like, so you don't want to do the whole baby song and dance. I mean, other than the baby mama dance, but like the whole going out on the steps of the hospital and like sharing the moment with everybody. Kind of a bummer, but all right.
What's the point of getting excited about the baby if you're not going to show us the baby?
Yeah. Um, so the news outlets are also starting to guess that Megan is going to want to have a home birth. Um, because she is very yoga-y, California vibing kind of girl,
Mm-hmm.
or at least she pretends to be. It is known that during both of her pregnancies, Megan has an Ayurvedic doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Ayurveda is a traditional Indian form of medicine that focuses on maintaining balance between the body and mind. Treatment for each person is unique and can include internal cleansing and purification, a special diet including a wide variety of spices, herbal and plant medicines, massage therapy, and different types of oils, yoga, meditation, and just in general, sort of like using food as a medicine. Unfortunately, I've seen some places saying that you can treat cancer with this, and I don't agree. But whatever. From what I can tell, these doctors that practice Ayurveda are not licensed in the US and the UK. So I'm assuming she had a provider who practiced this in tandem with a licensed
Probably.
doctor. That's my guess. Uh, on May 3rd, people find out that Harry's postponing a trip to the Netherlands for an Invictus Games event. And so everybody's like, "Oh, we planning on having a baby soon? Because it's about time to have a baby."
Am I reading?
And then, yes, May 6th, this is how, like, this is the order of how we find things out.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. London. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, the wife of Prince Harry, has gone into labor for the birth of their first child. Buckingham Palace said on Monday. The child would be the first interracial baby in the British monarchy's modern history. As a direct descendant of Harry, the baby will be seventh in line to the throne.
So it's about 1-ish in the afternoon UK time. We find out that she's gone into labor. But then within the hour, we get a post that it's a boy.
Whoa!
We're like, oh, okay. I barely had time to get excited. I was working.
She squished that sucker right out.
um, then the announcement is thrown up at Buckingham Palace. But we will notice that it is not signed by any medical staff
Oh.
because I feel like they were so worried about being secretive about their baby that they did not work in tandem with Buckingham Palace to like get all this stuff sent like thrown together. So I think somebody in Buckingham Palace was like, "Well, I'll just type up the thing, I guess, and throw it out there." But this kind of adds to the conspiracy of she didn't give birth.
Oh, sorry. I was comparing. I was like, what am I looking at on the right? And then I realized that must be because that's the Duchess of Cambridge. So, but I
Yeah,
was also because I noticed the 2018 at the bottom, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh yeah, duh. It's you're just comparing the two things. That there's nothing signed.
yeah. Um, what is this? Oh, and then so it was the labor announcement, and then like within the hour we find out she's already given birth, and not only she already given birth,
To
they're at
announce
home.
that Meghan and myself had a baby boy early this morning.
Oh,
A very healthy boy. Mother and baby are doing incredibly well. It's been the most amazing experience I could ever possibly imagine. How any woman does what they do is beyond comprehension, but we're both absolutely thrilled and so grateful to all the love and support for everybody out there, from everybody out there. It's been amazing. So we just wanted to share this with everybody.
And what about names? You still thinking about names?
Still thinking about names, Alan. It's yeah, the baby's a little bit overdue, so we've had a little bit of time to think about it. But yeah, we're still. That's the next bit. But for us, I think we'll be seeing you guys in probably 2 days' time, as planned, as a family, to be able to share it with you guys, and so everyone can see the baby.
Well, you can't stop smiling. It must have been. I mean, that's just, every birth is amazing, but for your own child, it must be.
I haven't been at many births. This is definitely my first birth, but it was amazing, absolutely incredible. And as I said, I'm so incredibly proud of my wife, and as every father and parent would ever say, you know, your baby is absolutely amazing, but this little thing is absolutely to die for. So I'm just over the moon. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Wow, he was so excited. He stayed awake.
You stayed awake this time.
I like that they
Okay.
did it with the ponies.
We did it with the ponies. So the I think Sky News and I think the Daily Mail were getting information from somebody because nobody knew where they gave birth except for like these two sources and nobody could confirm it for a while. So this is just a timeline of how things happened. Like I said, Sunday night, Harry drives Meghan and Mum Doria to London's Portland Hospital. How they knew this, we don't know. And then Monday at 5:26 a.m. she gives birth. They tell the senior royals an hour later, and then the palace tells the media at 1 p.m. that she's gone into labor. And then, like an hour later, the news finally gets to the press and they tell everybody. And then it's a half an hour after that that Harry and Meghan announce that they've had a baby. And then 3 minutes later, they're already home. And so we're all just like, not only did you keep it private, but we feel like we're being lied to at this point. Like,
Right. Because
you just said
stuff
you went
after
into labor and you're already home.
Right.
So this is where we go into what I told you you're gonna have to read a chapter of Spare.
Also,
This is your chapter.
Frogmore Cottage sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay. Doria was staying with us, waiting for the baby to come. Neither she nor Meg ever strayed far. None of us did. We all just sat around waiting, going for the occasional walk, looking at the cows. When Meg was a week past her due date, the comms team and the palace began pressuring me. When's the baby coming? The press can't wait forever, you know. Oh, the press is getting frustrated? Heaven forbid. Meg's doctor tried several homeopathic ways to get things moving.
I didn't write this.
But our little visitor was just intent on staying put. I don't remember if we ever tried Granny's suggestion of a bumpy car ride. Finally, we said, let's just go and make sure nothing's wrong. And let's be prepared in case the doctor says it's time. We got into a nondescript people carrier. Is he trying to say car?
I think so.
Who the fuck calls it a people carrier? That sounds like an ambulance, maybe. Maybe it is an ambulance. Okay, anyways.
I know there's people carrier. There's a people carrier ride at Disney World.
Which again, not what? Okay. We got into the nondescript people carrier and crept away from Frogmore without alerting any of the journalists stationed at the gates. It was the last sort of vehicle they suspected we'd be riding in. A short time later, we arrived at the Portland hospital and were spirited into a secret lift and then into a private room. Our doctor walked in, talked it through with us, and said it was time to induce. Meg was so calm. I was calm too. But I saw two ways of enhancing my calm. One, Nando's chicken, brought by our bodyguards. Two, a canister of laughing gas beside Meg's bed. I took several slow, penetrating hits. Meg, bouncing on a giant purple ball, a proven way of giving nature a push, laughed and rolled her eyes. My wife needed to have a baby, so I did drugs.
And she just laughed about it.
I took several more hits. And now
Not just I took drugs, I took her drugs.
Right? And now I was bouncing too. When her contractions began to quicken and deepen, a nurse came in and tried to give some laughing gas to Meg. There was none left. The nurse looked at the tank, looked at me, and I could see the thought slowly dawning. Gracious, the husband's had it all. Sorry, I said meekly. Meg laughed. The nurse had to laugh and quickly changed the canister. Meg, right? Like, this isn't funny. Meg climbed into a bath. I turned on soothing music. Diva Premal. She remixed... oh, excuse me. She remixed Sanskrit mantras into soulful hymns. Premal claimed she heard her first mantra in the womb, chanted by her father, and when he was dying, she chanted the same mantra to him. Powerful stuff.
Oh, yeah.
In our overnight bag, we had the same electric candles I had arranged in the garden the night I proposed. Now I placed them around the hospital room. I also set a framed photo of my mother on the little table. Meg's idea. Because your mother has been part of all of this, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like a man who has not processed his grief.
He sounds like someone who's married a woman who's prepared to be his new mommy.
Kinda. Time passed. An hour melted into hour. Minimal dilation. Meg was doing a lot of deep breathing for pain. Then the deep breathing stopped working. She was in so much pain that she needed an epidural. The anesthetist, oh, they call it something different there. The anesthetist hurried in. Off went the music and on went the lights. Whoa, vibe change.
Whoa.
He gave her an injection at the base of her spine. Still, the pain didn't let up. The medicine apparently wasn't getting where it needed to go. He came back, did it again. Now things were both quieted. Oh my god. Wait. Quietened? Quieted?
I think I would have said quieted, but okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm like, it should be quieted. Thank you. My brain just does not accept this. And accelerated. Her doctor came back 2 hours later, slipped both hands into a pair of rubber gloves. This is it, everybody. I stationed myself at the head of the bed, holding Meg's hand, encouraging her. Push, my love. Breathe. The doctor gave Meg a small hand mirror. I tried not to look, but I had to. I glanced and saw a reflection of the baby's head emerging. Stuck. Tangled. Oh no, please no. The doctor looked up, her mouth set in a particular way. Things were getting serious. I said to Meg, my love, I need you to push. I didn't tell her why. I didn't tell her about the cord. Didn't tell her about the likelihood of an emergency C-section. I just said, give me everything you've got. And she did.
Pause. Pause. Okay. Megan has the mirror. Why can Harry see what's going on and Megan can't if Megan's able to have a mirror?
Okay, so I was confused by that too. And then also, like, didn't tell her about the cord or the likelihood of an emergency C-section. She probably would have known these things.
And also, if it's looking dicey down there, and then you might have to do a C-section, maybe don't give your uneducated medical advice of push harder.
You're right. And she did. I saw the little face, the tiny neck and chest and arms wriggling, writhing. Life. Amazing. I thought, wow, it really all begins with a struggle for freedom. Is that meant to be some sort of understanding of what, like, slaves went through?
No, it's about him and Megan. When they flew to California to live in Tyler Perry's house in their time of need, they called that the Freedom Flight.
Stop it. Really?
Free.
Oh, no. I thought maybe he was trying to, like, relate to her blackness for a minute there, and I'm like, oh, God, no.
I hope not. But them getting out of the UK, they're trying to frame it as getting free.
Got it. A nurse swept the baby into a towel and placed him on Meg's chest, and we both cried to see him. Meet him. A healthy little boy. He was here. Our Ayurvedic doctor had advised us in the first minute of life the baby absorbs everything said to them. So, whisper to the baby. Tell the baby your wish for him, your love. Tell. We told. I don't remember phoning anyone, texting them. I remember watching the nurses run tests on my hour-old son, and then we were out there. Out of there. Oh my gosh. Into the lift, into the underground car, parked into the people. Oh my God. Jennifer, why are you asking me this? I remember watching the nurses run tests on my hour-old son, and then we were out of there. Into the lift, into the underground car park, into the people carrier, and gone. Within 2 hours of our son being born, we were back at Frogmore. Whoa, didn't you say it was like 25 miles or something?
Yeah. After she had an epidural.
Right? This doesn't track. The sun had risen, and we were behind closed doors before the official announcement was released. Saying Meg had gone into labor, I had a tiff with Sarah about that. You know she's not in labor anymore, I said. She explained that the press must be given a dramatic, suspenseful story, they demanded. But it's not true, I said. Truth didn't matter. Keeping people tuned to the show, that was the thing. After a few hours, I was standing outside the stables at Windsor telling the world, it's a boy. Days later, we announced the name to the world, Archie. The papers were incensed. They said we'd pulled off a fast one on them. Indeed, we had. They felt that, in doing so, we'd been bad partners? Astonishing. Did they still think of us as partners? Did they really expect special consideration, preferential treatment, given how they'd treated us the last 3 years? And then they showed the world what kind of partners they really were. A BBC radio presenter posted a photo on his social media, a man and a woman holding hands with a chimpanzee. The caption read, Royal baby leaves the hospital.
That actually did happen. I don't... The guy who did it was an older British man who said that he didn't know that would have racist undertones or overtones or all the tones.
Right.
I don't think that man is that stupid.
Right.
But it's like, that one man does this, but you're gonna lump everybody in with him.
Right. And be
anytime anybody criticizes anything you do,
right,
or say, it's just because everybody's racist.
Right. But also, everything starts with a struggle for freedom.
So, yeah. As we were talking about during you reading that story, like, there's just things about the story that don't make any sense. Like, him taking all of her laughing gas, and everybody's just fine with this.
Right?
She has an epidural, and then has a baby, and like 2 hours later, she's home.
Right? In a place
Meanwhile, she
30
said,
minutes away.
meanwhile, she said, like, she didn't want to do it like Kate did and go to the Lindo wing and then present the baby on the steps because that's unrealistic.
But,
Everything about your pregnancy has been unrealistic.
right?
I don't know. It's just more of, I don't believe the conspiracies, but you guys aren't fucking helping yourselves.
Which feels very accurate.
Yeah. So a couple days later, baby gets introduced to the queen. Baby's name is revealed as Archie Harrison, which is weird because it's not anybody's names. Like, it's none of their relatives are named Archie or Harrison. And I think over the years they've tried to explain that they like the arch, like, prefix, like how they named their foundation Archwell. They think that arche in Greek means something like getting out there and doing good, but it doesn't. It just means like the origin or the top or number one. That's what arche, like archaeology is talking. You're like learning about the origins of things.
Right.
And then Harrison, I've seen people say that it's because he's Harry's son.
Stop. It
And
can't
I
be.
hope that that's not the real reason.
It better not be.
That is
That'd
what,
be terrible.
yeah. Also, the talk about whether or not their children will be prince or princesses has been going on the entire time she was pregnant. And it was printed in the papers over and over again that George V had printed letters patent in 1917 that you could give the title prince or princess to children of the monarch, children of the sons of the monarch, and the eldest son of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales.
Okay.
In 2012, Queen Elizabeth added that it could be all the children of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales, because just so that Charlotte and Louis could also be a prince and princess and not just have Prince George and then it would be Lady Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's known that Archie's not going to be a prince because that's just what the rule is. And apparently the queen doesn't think it's a big enough deal for her to change any more rules.
Right.
At the time, the Sussexes are trying to frame it as they've chosen not to give him a title because they want him to be as normal as possible. Omid Scobie tweets this, and Omid Scobie is a royal biographer in a loose term. That we know that Meghan has actually like Meghan's team has worked with him on writing books about Harry and Meghan. We all assume that he knows more, that like he's almost a mouthpiece for them.
Mm.
So like anything he says, we assume that's what they think.
Got it.
So he tweeted, go ahead and say what he tweeted, Meghan. Meghan? Cassie?
I'll forgive it. I'll allow it.
Are you gonna read it?
Oh, I thought you were saying like you were gonna read it this time. Sorry.
No.
The way you said it. Never mind. Okay. As we expected, Harry and Meghan forgone a courtesy title for their child, all part of giving him as normal a life as possible. Love that Doria was there when the Queen met Archie for the first time at Windsor Castle today.
Okay. This is what happens at the time. In the Netflix show, Harry and Meghan. No, not then. In the Oprah interview is when Meghan implies that he wasn't going to be given a prince title because he could have darker skin than the rest of the family.
And not just the fact that he's technically not eligible to receive the title based off of his position in the family.
Exactly, and that he will get that title when Charles becomes king, which is now. So, there's that. They have been offered, like, you do have the option of giving your child one of Harry's lesser titles, because Harry has, I think, 3 titles. He's the Duke of Sussex, but he's also the Earl of Dumbarton. Or Dumbarton? I don't know. One of the two.
Oh, okay.
And so they said you could name Archie the Earl of Dumbarton. But then there was a news article that came out that sources revealed that Harry and Meghan reject the Earl title because Dumbarton has dumb in it.
And they feared their son would be bullied or attract unfortunate nicknames.
Which I think is stupid.
Yeah, it feels like an excuse. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And then they do this is when the world gets to meet Archie. Sort of. You can barely see him. And he doesn't move. And a lot of people say, is that fake, baby?
You really can't see him at all.
Yep.
It's magic. It's pretty amazing, and I mean, I have the 2 best guys in the world, so I'm really happy. He has the sweetest temperament. He's really calm, and
I don't know where he gets that from.
yeah, and he's just been the dream. So it's been a special couple of days.
Everyone says that babies change so much over 2 weeks. We're basically sort of monitoring how the changing process happens over this next month, really. But his looks are changing every single day.
Yeah.
So who knows? Yeah, that's great. I mean, parenting is amazing. It's only been 2.5 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
But we're just so thrilled to have our own little bundle of joy. And to be able to spend some precious times with him as he slowly starts to grow up. He's already got a little bit of facial hair as well. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you all
very
so
much.
much.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you everybody for all the well wishes and the kindness. It just means so much. Thank
Thanks
you.
guys for support.
Thank you.
Bye.
So that's it for big baby news for the year, except for we do have Archie's christening. We never find out who the godparents are, which is also weird. The Times has mentioned that 4 different people have been confirmed as godparents, but they don't have sources. So nobody else is reporting that.
We just don't know.
Let's see. March 2020 is when they move into Tyler Perry's house. July 2020 is when they move into their own house. And then November 2020, this New York Times opinion piece comes out written by the Duchess of Sussex. And this is, she writes an opinion piece, but really she's going to talk about how when they moved to Montecito in July, she had a miscarriage, and that she's going to turn this into like we should all be asking if everybody's okay, because not everybody's okay.
Got it.
But we're going to talk about the miscarriage part in particular, because we have 3 different versions of this story, and they're all slightly different.
Okay. Am I reading the whole thing or just the thing that you have, like, highlighted?
Just the highlighted.
Okay. After changing his diaper, I felt a sharp cramp. I dropped to the floor with him in my arms, humming a lullaby to keep us both calm. The cheerful tune a stark contrast to my sense of that something. Oh my God, Jennifer. I'm so sorry to everybody listening to this. This is awful.
Why do you blame me every time it happens?
Because you make me read these things out loud. The cheerful tune a stark contrast to my sense that something was not right. I knew as I clutched my firstborn child that I was losing my second. Hours later, I lay in a hospital bed, holding my husband's hand. I felt the clamminess of his palm and kissed his knuckles, wet from both our tears. Staring at the cold white walls, my eyes glazed over. I tried to imagine how we'd heal.
Okay. So in this version, we're assuming she's either in a nursery because she's changing Archie's diaper, or maybe in a bedroom because it's the first, like they just moved, so maybe the nursery's not set up, and maybe he sleeps in his parents' bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But like she's just changed his diaper. She is alone with the baby. She gets a cramp and she pulls her baby off of wherever she changed him and holds him as she sinks to the floor.
Right.
And then
version number
Netflix,
2.
in the Netflix Harry and Meghan show, we're gonna have this clip where Abigail Spencer is gonna talk and then Meghan's gonna talk, but I only have Abigail's picture on the screen because I tried to make this so we wouldn't get copyrighted.
Got it.
I also sped her up a little tiny bit, so hopefully the audio wouldn't get caught.
Got it.
So, we'll see.
I'm driving up just like, all right, we're going to unpack, we're going to get settled, and Meg is standing outside waiting for me, and I can tell something's off. And she's like, show me the new home. So it's very mixed emotion, because here's our new home, but she's standing, she's like, I'm having a lot of pain. She was holding Archie, and she just fell to the ground, and I was pregnant. I really wasn't sleeping. And the first morning that we woke up in our new home is when I miscarried.
So now this one is, she's outside, I'm assuming by the front door,
Right.
waiting for her friend to come in to help them unpack. And that's where she drops to the ground.
Right.
I'm not saying she didn't have a miscarriage. I think she had the pain wherever she changed Archie's diaper, and she sank to the ground and was like, something's not right. And then she went out to go see her friend, and she did it again.
For dramatic effect.
Right. Which is weird.
Right.
But again, is leaving space for people to speculate and go, did this even happen? Because so far I've got 2 different versions. And then this is Harry Spare.
She'd been staying up late, night after night, trying to work out how to save these people, and now...
These people part is... she's in the middle of a lawsuit with the mail that she started.
Got it.
And they're trying to pull some of her friends into this case, and she's trying to save her friends. So she's very stressed out about that.
Got it. On our first morning in the new house, she reported abdominal pains. This sounds very medical. The patient reported abdominal pains.
Yeah.
And bleeding. Then she collapsed to the floor. We raced to the local hospital. When the doctor walked into the room, I didn't hear one word she said. I just watched her face, her body language. I already knew. We both did. There had been so much blood. Still, hearing the words was a blow. Meg grabbed me. I held her. We both wept. Well, how come you weren't in the other two versions of the story?
Right. Harry wasn't in the other versions. Well, Abigail isn't in this one, or in Megan's version. And I have no idea where she fell unless she literally was just like, all over the place. Which
you're looking,
Which she should stop doing while she's holding a baby.
Right?
Oh, the next page is where we get some more questions.
In my life, I've felt totally helpless only 4 times. In the back of the car while Mummy and Willie and I were being chased by the Paps. In the Apache above Afghanistan, unable to get clearance to do my duty. Not caught when my pregnant wife was planning to take her life. Whoa! And now, we left the hospital with our unborn child, a tiny package. We went to the place. Oh my God! We went to a place, a secret place only we knew. Under a spreading banyan tree, while Meg wept, I dug a hole with my hands and set the tiny package softly in the ground.
Some questions come up with that. The first question was, are you allowed to bring those home? The remains of a miscarriage, which I looked it up in the state of California. Like, if it's before 20 weeks, it's considered a miscarriage, and you can take that home because it's not much of a baby.
Right.
After that, it's human remains. After that, it's considered stillborn.
Got it.
Whether or not you can legally bury this at home is a little dicey. And then my question is, you are burying your child. Why are you digging a hole with your hands? That sounds like a pretty shallow grave. That animals could come along and dig up.
I guess the other thing too is like it's not super clear like how far along she was. Like,
No.
Do we know that?
No. We don't know that.
Got it. Because I could see it being a shallow grave if it's just like a little like bloody glob.
But still, animals could come along and dig it up.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're very...
Yeah, well...
They don't strike me as the type that would be like, yes, wildlife.
I don't know. That's my least favorite part, is the burying part. I wish she'd gotten a shovel. And also, again, the story has like 3 different versions that don't really line up. And so it left room for people to speculate that she didn't have a miscarriage. And I believe that she did. I just believe she was falling all over the place.
Like a Victorian woman.
All right. January 2021. Archie's birth certificate. People have now realized that a month after he was born, his birth certificate was changed. First thing that they changed was, even I noticed that on his birth certificate, it said His Royal Highness Henry Charles Albert David, Duke of Sussex, but it didn't say Prince Henry. So they fixed that. They threw in a prince. But they also changed Meghan's name. It had been Rachel Meghan, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. And they corrected it to Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Like, they took her name out.
Interesting.
It is interesting and it's weird. And
Why would you do that?
gave the conspiracy people
Yeah.
room to be like, her name isn't actually on the birth certificate, so maybe she had a surrogate because she didn't actually give birth to it, which also doesn't make any sense because she would still be the mother.
Right.
uh, then this is a little back and forth in the news. If you want to read the highlighted bit.
Meghan Markle left Buckingham Palace officials quote-unquote baffled by her statement saying they forced her to change her name on baby Archie's birth certificate, Page 6 is told. Shortly after her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry, Markle, who was born Rachel Meghan Markle, had her name officially changed to Meghan, HRH, the Duchess of Sussex, we have confirmed. This name is now believed to be on her passport and all official documents, as officially acquired by the Garter Kings of Arms and senior herald in England, Thomas Woodcock, a member of the royal household and the principal advisor to the Queen on ceremonial matters and hierarchy.
Well, then we go to the Daily Mail, who comes back at that.
The New York Post, seemingly guided by the Sussex's representatives, suggested yesterday that the changes were required by the Garter Principal King of Arms and Senior Herald Thomas Woodcock, a member of the royal household and chief advisor to the Queen on ceremonial matters and heraldry. Did I say hierarchy in the other one? Was it supposed to be heraldry? Anyways,
I don't know what you said.
but when I spoke to the genial Mr. Woodcock at the College of Arms yesterday, he was bemused by the suggestion. This doesn't ring a bell with me, he said. I may have said sometime that if you are the Duchess of Sussex, then that is your name. Rachel Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, rather implies that you are a dowager or widowed. That's a bit old-fashioned. I haven't had any part of it, but I am very happy to take the blame if that's what's required. Oh, what a nice man.
That's my favorite part and why I kept this in.
It is undoubtedly my role to advise, and maybe I offered some thoughts in one context, but they are being used in another. Whenever I am asked a question, I do try to answer it as honestly as possible. I have no recollection particularly of being asked for any advice on how things should be entered on a birth certificate. His sense of bemusement is echoed by the palace. There is no set protocol with these things, one source told me. The birth certificate is a civic document, so there are options as to how it's filled out. The language used, suggesting that it was a quote-unquote the palace who quote-unquote dictated the wording, is somewhat unfortunate. The decision to issue a statement and the wording of it poses more questions than it answers, unfortunately. Oh.
I just think that it was a weird change, but if you looked at multiple birth certificates, they're all slightly different. Like, some are handwritten, some are typed. Some people put all these like really long titled names together in a slightly different fashion, and it looks like somebody on the Sussex's team tried to fix it and just made it weirder.
Right?
And
Blamed
it's
this
not
guy,
that
and this
big of
guy
a-
was like, what? Okay.
it's not that big of a deal, but for some reason the Sussexes still had to like clap back in the news.
Right.
Like, we didn't do it. That guy said we had to. And then he's like, sure, I said it.
He's like, I don't remember it, but if that's what you need me to say, sure.
It really just gives a hint at the levels of maturity we're dealing with on either side.
Clearly.
Then March of 2020 is when the Oprah interview happens, where we've officially dropped the bomb that we believe that Archie didn't get a title of prince because he could have had darker skin. But I'm not saying that they're racist. I'm just saying it's a tint problem. And also, I don't really care that they didn't want to call him a prince because I just want him to be normal. It's about security. If he doesn't get the prince title, then he doesn't get security, which is also weird and a lie.
I was going to say, I'm like, is that even true?
No.
Whoa.
Then we get pregnant with Lily. This is again a picture of like she has very high belly when
Right?
she's pregnant. It looks strange.
It does look really strange.
This
Gravity
time
doesn't
she
work on her, apparently.
apparently I don't understand it. Uh this time they opted to forego a baby shower for the birth of the second child. Quote, Megan doesn't feel a big baby shower with gifts is appropriate right now. There's just too much strife in the world. She and Harry have been so involved with humanitarian issues. They both feel their time and resources can be used for a better purpose.
Okay.
Why didn't we feel that the first time?
Right?
Okay. Then Lily's born June 4th, 2021, at the Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in Santa Barbara, California. June 6th, they announce it from their weird office in California where they still try to make things look royal, but it's not from it. This is not coming through royal channels.
Got it.
So I'm going to have you read it. And I don't know. You tell me how it feels. But like we read previous statements from the palace, and they're very short to the point, and they just have all the necessary information that you need.
Right.
And then read this and tell me if it just feels like a little weird.
It is with great joy that Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, welcome their daughter, Lilibet Lily Diana Mountbatten Windsor, to the world. Lily was born on Friday, June 4th at 11:40 a.m. in the trusted care of the doctors and staff at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in Santa Barbara, California. She weighed 7 pounds, 11 ounces. Both mother and child are healthy and well and settling in at home. Lily is named after her great-grandmother, Her Majesty the Queen, whose family nickname is Lilibet. Her middle name, Diana, was chosen to honor her beloved late grandmother, the Princess of Wales. This is the second child for the couple, who also have a 2-year-old son named Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. The Duke and Duchess thank you for your warm wishes and prayers as they enjoy this special time as a family. Ends. Yeah, it does feel really wordy compared to Archie's official announcement.
It's just like they're trying to be royals on their own, but it's not.
Want to be.
It's not it. Also, Archie Harrison, we don't know where the hell his name came from. Honestly, I don't think they do either. But Lily gets 2 names associated with the royal family, and that's nice for Lily. Lilibet was Queen Elizabeth's childhood nickname because when she was a child, she couldn't say Elizabeth, so she said Lilibet. And so all the adults in the family would call her Lilibet, and her sister would call her Lilibet, and that's it. Her children did not refer to her as Lilibet. Her grandchildren did not refer to her as Lilibet. Nobody outside the family ever referred to her as Lilibet. It's a very specific nickname for Queen Elizabeth, and they did not get permission to use it. It's weird. And also, just a few months ago, you had this Oprah interview where you just totally bombed the entire family, which is everything this woman has been working for her entire life.
Right, and then you name your child after her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
In a weird way. You don't even call your daughter Elizabeth. You call her Lilibet. I think it's gross.
It does feel, I don't want to say pointed, feels like the wrong word, but it definitely feels on purpose in a way,
Right.
where it's like a little middle finger to them.
Little middle finger to them, but also like Harry and I guess also Meghan, they kind of view the queen as like on their side. And they're like, well, we really like her. And obviously we love my mom, Diana, but everybody else can suck it. And and it's like you can't do an Oprah interview trashing the family and then go to the matriarch of the family and try to butter her up by naming your granddaughter after her. And in a weird, weird way.
Right, that's like really personal.
So then we'll read the spare version of her birth. It's very short. It's like 2 pages.
Clearly. It was slightly easier this time, maybe because we were an ocean away from the old chaos and stress. When the big day came, we were both surer, calmer, steadier. What bliss, we said, not having to worry about timing, protocols, journalists at the front gate. We drove calmly, samely to the hospital, where our bodyguards once again fed us. This time they brought burgers and fries from In-N-Out, and fajitas from a local Mexican restaurant. Oh my god, fajitas from a local Mexican restaurant for Meg. We ate and then did the baby mama dance around the hospital room.
Heard about it?
Nothing but joy and love in that room. Still, after many hours, Meg asked the doctor, when? Soon, we're close. This time I didn't touch the laughing gas, because there was none. Okay, that implies he was waiting for it. He's like, awesome, I love when you go into labor, because I get to get high.
Yeah.
Because there was none. I was fully present. I was with Meg through every push. When the doctor said it was a matter of minutes, I told Meg that I wanted mine to be the first face out our little girl saw. We knew we were having a daughter. Meg nodded, squeezed my hand. I went and stood beside the doctor. We both crouched, as if about to pray. The doctor called out, the head is crowning. Crowning, I thought. Incredible. The skin was blue. I was worried the baby wasn't getting enough air. Is she choking? I looked at Meg. One more push, my love. We're so close. Here, 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 the doctor said, guiding my hands right here. A scream, then a moment of pure liquid silence. It wasn't, as sometimes happens, the past and the future. Oh my god. It wasn't, as sometimes happens, the past and future were suddenly one. It was that the past didn't matter and the future didn't exist. There was only this intense present, and then the doctor turned to me and shouted, now! I slid my hands under the tiny back and neck. Gently but firmly, as I had seen in the films, I pulled our precious daughter from the world into this and cradled her cradled her just a moment, trying to smile at her, to see her, but honestly I couldn't see anything. I wanted to say hello. I wanted to say, where have you come from? I wanted to say, is it better there? Is it peaceful? Are you frightened? Don't be. All will be well. I'll keep you safe. I surrendered her to Meg, skin to skin, the nurse said. Later, after we brought her home, after we'd settled in... Oh, wait, was I supposed to keep reading?
I wouldn't read after that, because it gets weird.
Hey.
As weird as he is with his child being born, the rest of it is him and Megan skin to skin time.
Wow. Okay, well now I'm reading it, and that's interesting.
You can't see, the last line is on the next page. She said, that was everything. That is a man. That is not a spare.
Oh, how nice.
Eh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Lily's birth story.
So very different than Archie's.
Yeah, because we were present for this one and not high.
Right.
Sorry, I don't want my husband getting high. Well, I'm having the baby.
Right? And I wouldn't be laughing about it either.
I would be like, you are just another child I have to take care of.
Right? That's not what I want.
All right. A few months later, December 2022, the 6th episode, Harry and Meghan, comes out, where at first in the news they were saying that they were really excited about this because they were able to have a lot of input in how it was coming out, and they were really going to be able to finally get to have a voice and say what they want to say. Then it comes out and does not get great reviews, and everybody else in the show is a lot harder on the royal family than Harry and Meghan are. Just basically saying that the royal family and all of the UK is horribly racist and terrible.
Nice.
And then after that, Meghan's like, well, it didn't come out exactly like I wanted it to. That's weird. A month-ish after the show comes out is when Spare comes out. 300 pages of chaos.
Nonsense.
Actually. What you read, and then 300 pages more, and then like a lot more. Just things happening I don't want to read.
And clearly it wasn't that... Does this say 30% off?
This is 30. Yeah, some of them were 50% off. It went on sale real quick.
Ooh.
But it is, I believe, the fastest non-fiction book ever sold. Supposedly. And then Lily is christened in March of 2023.
Wait, was there no, like, speculative forensic photos of what they thought she would look like?
No.
Aw, lucky for Archie, he gets that all to himself, but also bummer.
I think that just works for both of them.
That's funny.
So usually royal babies are christened within the first 6 months, but this happened almost 2 years later. And obviously she was not christened in an Anglican church. She was christened at home in Montecito by someone from an Episcopal church.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another interesting thing is this is the only godparent we know. Lily's godfather is Tyler Perry.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Okay.
Anyways. I don't know if you've heard about him lately in the news, but while I was researching
I've heard
this,
about him lately in the news.
yeah, some new stuff has been coming out in the news lately. With him being accused of how would we put it? Sexually harassing people that work for him?
Yeah, that's about it.
Allegedly. It's a $260 million case. Another thing about that is when I saw that news pretty much as soon as it broke, his lawyers immediately put out a response that the person that is accusing him of these things is scamming him for money.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, oh no.
That was a poor choice.
Right?
Why would you come out with that, like, immediately? Why don't you, I don't know,
Take a beat?
take a minute? Maybe wait till some evidence is out there.
Right?
That maybe the person accusing you does have a reason to scam you, but, like, right now you should just shut up.
He doesn't have a very good legal team, clearly.
No. I don't want to talk about him too much because I've never liked him. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also don't know a ton about him outside of his relationship to Meghan and Harry. I just know that he is a billionaire with a bit of a god complex.
Yeah, most billionaires have that.
Yeah. So the fun thing, and the reason why I think we waited a couple of years to christen this child if we were going to do it at all, and so that we could come out to people. People is the one that announced the christening.
Mm.
But she was christened Princess Lilibet, which means they have now decided that Archie and Lily are prince and princess now because King Charles is the king, and so now they are grandchildren of the monarch, so they're allowed to. So it's like, A, you did know that that was the rule, not because Megan's half black.
Right.
Uh,
But we've already said it. Cat is out of the bag.
you also said that you chose not to give them titles so they could have a normal life, but now you've moved them to America and give them prince and princess titles, which is going to make them especially strange.
Right?
And there is no reason for them to give them the titles now, because when the children turn like 18, they can decide at any point that they want to be known as a prince or princess. They are allowed to do that of their own free will.
So they could have just left it well enough alone, and they could have decided that later.
Right, you could have just let your children make their own decisions.
Why?
Yeah, I think if you want to read, this is the article.
Oh, yeah.
I think I took like the most important chunks.
Okay. When reached by People, a spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex said, I can confirm that Princess Lilibet Diana was christened on Friday, March 3rd by the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles, the Reverend... I hate that they say Rev.
Yeah.
Reverend John Taylor. According to the source, Meghan, 41, and Harry, 38, extended an invite to King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Kate Middleton, but they were not in attendance. Ooh. After their grandfather became monarch following the death of Queen Elizabeth last September, Archie, 3, and Lilibet were afforded the titles of Prince and Princess under the rules set out by King Charles V in 1917. People understands that the palace will update their website to reflect Archie and Lily's titles, which are currently listed as Master Archie Mountbatten Windsor and Miss Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor. The children's titles have been a birthright since their grandfather became a monarch, a spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex told People. This matter has been settled for some time in alignment with Buckingham Palace.
Okay. First thing that irritates me is obviously this came from the Sussex team straight to People, because People's the one that broke it. It's an exclusive.
Right.
Also, why anytime you see anything about Meghan and Harry that is in favor of them, and they say they have sources, believe the thing from People is the saddest thing I ever thought I would ever say, because People magazine is not like...
Known for their journalistic prowess?
Exactly. It's weird. But it's been interesting to research all of this with that, as Megan would say, with a new lens. Knowing that anything that came out of them is more than likely true. Also, because of Spare, I read the newspaper differently, because over and over again in Spare, Harry will fuck up, the papers will report it, and he'll get mad that they reported it, but he's like, they shouldn't have reported it. I'm just mad that they did. Yeah. And then, so every time I've heard a source said this, someone close to the palace, someone close to the Sussexes said something, I'm now at a 75% sure that they actually think or say that thing. It's true.
Got it.
Whereas I used to be at maybe a 30%. If you said a source but you won't tell me who, I would be like, that's a nugget. I'll hold on to in the back of my brain, but I'm not ever going to report it as biblical truth. Now I'm a little bit closer to believing it because you complained about it all the time. One thing that irritates me is explicitly saying that they extended invites to the family that they've been trashing.
Right? That's what I was like, oh, how nice of you to invite them when you clearly probably didn't want them to come.
Exactly.
But you just
The
want to
next,
make it look like you're the bigger person.
right. The next thing is you didn't tell, obviously, you didn't tell them that you were changing the title situation because the website was not changed for a long time.
Right.
It was like we heard it in People first, and then we all looked at the Palace website for a few weeks like, is this real? Are they actually? Can they do that? Like,
Right.
and then the last bit that I had to tack on was this snarky response of like, it's their birthright. We've all known this for a while. And it's like, really? Because you guys were the ones that were complaining that they couldn't have it.
Right. It's been settled for a long time.
Yeah. Shut up. Oh, I missed a picture. Womp womp. All right, I'll just go over the next part without a picture.
Okay.
This is the last bit. In the last few weeks, not only have we been seeing the Sussex children a lot, like
More than
Megan posts exactly more than we ever have, more than we see their cousins, which you were complaining that you didn't want to serve your children up on a silver platter to the press, and you needed to get away so that they could have a private, normal life. But you're posting them on Instagram every week.
Right.
Whenever it's, financially convenient for you to boost your brand. So, in the last couple of weeks, there was rumors that Harry was trying to change their family name to Spencer instead of Sussex. And then reports came out that he had gone to his uncle to ask if it would be okay if they used the name Spencer. And for some reason, it had something to do with the fact that they were trying to get British passports for the children. Which, a side note, why are we getting British passports for the children if you don't feel safe bringing your children to the UK?
Right.
Anyways, I'm thinking he wants to bring them to the upcoming Invictus Games in Birmingham. But I still don't understand why we did this whole thing with security, saying it's too scary to bring your children. Anyways, trying to get British passports for their children, and they want their names to be, supposedly, HRH, Prince Archie, Princess Lilibet, Sussex. When they were born on their birth certificates, their names are Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor and Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. So you're asking for their passport to have a different name entirely.
Right.
Also asking the UK to print passports with these honorifics at the beginning for, like, in a really weird time where, like, you're not getting along with the royal family. And also, like, it's just going through normal channels in the passport offices. Imagine getting this application where
Right.
you're like, I'm sorry, this is going to have to go up the chain like a few times.
Above my pay grade.
So apparently it was delayed about 6 months so far after the initial applications went in. But days after, lawyers sent a letter threatening to pursue a data subject access request. They finally released the passports, so Harry thinks that the royal family were trying to block them from getting passports or something. a source told The Guardian all the stuff I told you about, like, specifically how they want their names to look. HRH, Prince, Princess of Sussex. But the source also said that Harry said something to his uncle along the lines of, my family are supposed to have the same name, and they're stopping that from happening because these kids are legally HRH. So if push comes to shove, if this blows up and they won't let the kids be called Sussex, then can we use Spencer as a surname? I don't see how that fixes the problem.
I was gonna say, I'm like, what?
Their names were legally Mountbatten Windsor. You're trying to change it to Sussex. Did you ever, like, I'm assuming in the UK, much like in the US, if you change your name, there's paperwork.
Right? You don't get to just say, okay, call me something different today.
Call me something different on my passport as opposed to my birth certificate
Right.
with no paperwork in the middle.
And also, we're not part of the royal family anymore, so.
But also, they want their kids to keep their HRHs in case their kids decide to be working royals when they grow up. But you've ruined that for them.
Right? You've burned that bridge on their behalf.
Like, they don't know anything about that life. And also, when William is king, I don't think he's going to want them as working royals.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, he doesn't know them. And again, they don't know anything about the life of a working royal or a royal in general.
Seems like it makes sense.
Anyways, it's a lot of hassle about titles for people who didn't care about titles. And Buckingham Palace has denied making any suggestions or objections to the passports being issued with the HRH in the titles. They probably just had a problem with the fucking last names. That is it so far. Everything about these people is a nightmare.
And a hot mess.
It's just like, every time I got to a major life event, there were 3 versions of the story.
Right, and you don't really know which one is the truth.
And they just don't make a lot of sense, and they leave a lot of room for speculation, and that's how you get these people who are bad actors and give you no chance of, like, they don't have any, what's the word? Oh my gosh. They don't give you, not leeway, but like, they don't give you any benefit of the doubt or anything.
Right.
And they're going to create these conspiracies that are now going to follow you around because everything you say about your children and your pregnancies doesn't make sense and doesn't correlate with anything else you've said.
Right. The math ain't mathin'.
Yeah. That's all that. Any questions?
No, I feel like I answered them. Or, I didn't answer them. I feel like I asked them in the moment. I answered my own questions. I didn't even have to ask.
Are you going to read Spare on your own?
I'm a little tempted to at this point.
It made me angry. Like,
because it was written like shit.
The writing is not great. And if, I know there was a ghostwriter, but if he's relaying how Harry thinks correctly, and from what I see of Harry, it feels like when I read that book, I am reading Harry's thoughts most of the time. It is frustrating because you just want to shake him like a lot of the time. And if you fact check anything in the book, a lot of the times he just doesn't remember things correctly. Which is also not helping.
Unreliable narrator.
Definitely. So that's it for the kids. I looked at the calendar ahead, and on our calendar I just have things that occur annually, like things that we always expect to come up, not like obviously if we're following the news, I'm not going to be able to predict everything that's coming up.
Crazy.
The only thing I have is that July 1st is Diana's birthday. She was born in 1961. So what's that? She would have been 64?
Yeah. It's so funny. Well, because in my brain I'm like, okay, my mom was born in 62. Instead of just going 4 and then 60.
Oh. That's interesting.
What?
I don't even, like, if you just ask me how old my mom is off the top of my head, I would not just, like, know the answer. I'd have to do some math for a minute.
Oh, that's why I had to, because I was like, I know she was born in 62, but how old is she actually? And then I had to...
Oh, but then you would have had to do math to figure out how old your mom is.
Yes. I made it more complicated than it needed to be.
And then add the 1.
Yeah.
But anyways, again, like we always say, if you're still listening, maybe you can give us a like. That would be great.
Comment.
You could comment below which atrocity that we went through irritates you the most.
Share your most traumatic moment.
Do you believe in any of the conspiracies? Do you believe they had the kids? Do you believe there was a miscarriage? Do you believe in Megan?
Do you believe in magic?
Oh God. She used that. She used that song. She used that song.
Oh, you're right. She did, didn't she?
Was it for the With Love, Megan?
Yeah, it was definitely for With Love. Yeah, it was that show. Okay.
Yeah, and also like I said in the last episode, an episode about the Commonwealth, not going to get a lot of views. It did not.
What?
This episode, probably going to get more views, and it's probably going to get some dislikes from people who are
Team Megan.
big fans of the Sussexes. So if you could give us a like and help balance that out, that would be great.
I'm like, was it really bad? It was like 10 people.
What?
That watched our last one.
It was 5.
Oh, I was really clearly quite optimistic with 10. I was like, double digits.
No, it was 5, and then the Spotify was like 6.
Hey, we'll take anything, to be honest.
I was like, I don't care. I want to do this episode.
I mean, I think honestly it was important.
It's good information.
Oh, it's still at 5. I was like, maybe.
No.
Aw. Damn. But that's okay. This one.
But it did get a like.
Ooh.
It got a like out of 5 people that watched it, and
That's a 20% like rate.
exactly. And in the last 2 weeks, we got 3 more subscribers.
Wow.
So
Thanks, you guys, for
great.
listening
Yeah.
to us ramble.
Yeah. All right. So other than that, I think we're gonna go.
I gotta go.
So I gotta edit this.
Oh, fun.
All
Okay.
right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.